Chad Stearns. of his career. It's been a great 7 days here on Turn 200, but if you're one of the drivers that ran out of fuel in the final lap last week at Phoenix, surely you've had one thing on your mind since the checkers flew in the desert: Indianapolis. Indeed, it is the very first race at the mecca of motorsports, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where the drivers will be battling for 60 laps tonight in the Taco Chalupa Batman Memorial at the Brickyard. Yep, it's round number 5 of season number 5 of the Venom Truck Series. The hit race names just keep on rolling in, as it is Tommy Cook and soon-to-be Matt Williamson on the other side of the break, and Chad Stearns grabbing his second win of the season in just his third start has catapulted him right up into the top 8 in the driver's standings. But more importantly, we have a new points leader, as the two-time champions now sit 1 and 2. Nathan Reynolds now leads by just 2 points over teammate Ryan Dye. The former leader, Will Salamone, slides down just a little bit to third, only by an additional point over Dye. And with no prior history to go off of here tonight, at the most historical oval track in the world, who will be the first Venom Truck Series driver to lay claim to virtual IMS? We are just moments away from getting tonight's Venom Truck Series race underway here on Turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Night open here now. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
We're back live here on Turn 200 with the boys. It's Tommy Cook and it's the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. Are you ready for the Taco Chalupa Batman Memorial at the Brickyard here tonight?
I mean, I'm about as ready as I can be for an event with a name like the Taco Chalupa Batman Memorial at the Brickyard. The Venom Truck Series has never been here before, and what we saw in practice and here in warm-ups now, it might be a little interesting.
Absolutely. It's always going to be interesting when you have a field of 29 Venom Truck Series drivers ready to go. But the fact that it's the very first time that the series has been here, to the 2.5-mile mecca of motorsports, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And like you said, these trucks were all over the place. I think some people on purpose, but some people definitely not on purpose. So we're going to be watching for quite a few things here as the race rolls along. And if you like the action today, or if you're going to like the action today, this race, Indianapolis, will be on the Truck 200 schedule. That's right. Fairly early on. I think it's the 3rd or 4th race on the calendar here at Indianapolis. It'll be 80 laps. The gimmick with Truck 200 is all the races are either 200 laps, or actually they're either 200 miles or 200 kilometers. So 200 miles here is 80 laps. That's what the trucks will be doing. In just a couple of months here, we've had quite a few signups. We had a couple more people sign up today. So appreciate everybody coming out and wanting to be a part of the Truck 200 here on Turn 200. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. It's going to be our flagship programming, the first league that Turn 200 is actually going to be hosting itself. So we're excited about it. We've had quite a few signups already, and we're still, about a month away from the season starting, so hoping to get quite a few more. It should be something exciting every Monday night here on Turn 200.
And we had our biggest night in channel history last Saturday night. Of course, it was the Daytona Charity Shootout hosted by Claire Cryptos and Shaq iGear. We had at one point we had 48 people watching towards the tail end of that race. Ryan Vargas was victorious. He put it up on his Twitter, and it got something like 2,000 or 3,000 views as his clip of him winning the race. It's our most successful VOD on the channel. Over the last 2 weeks, we've gotten over 30 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody for subscribing over the last couple of weeks and coming out and supporting Turn 200 last weekend for our two biggest nights in channel history thus far. So. Appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate everybody coming to hang out here tonight as well. I see Kevin Sargent in the chat as well as Get Player TV. So if you are hanging out with Kevin and Get Player and us here in the booth, give us a shout. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you as the race rolls along here. 60 laps here tonight at Indianapolis, and the action is just getting ready to start. As the warm-up is over, the trucks will hit the grid on pit road, and we will get ready for the inaugural running of the Taco Chalupa Batman Memorial at the Brickyard. 60 laps here tonight, and it starts off like this with Nathan Reynolds. He is the new points leader. He has got career pole number 12 here tonight at Indianapolis. He will have Garrett Rainey starting to his outside. Great qualifying run for him to go off the outside pole. Last week's race winner, looking for his third race victory of the season, Chad Stearns. He starts P3. Jeff Langston is looking for redemption. He'll start to his outside. Andy Poliski, 2 straight podium finishes heading into tonight. He starts P5. He'll have Jeremy McKinnon, who has led the most laps this season and has 1 race victory at Daytona, starting P6. The driver that relinquished the points lead after last week at Phoenix starts P7. That is Will Salamone. Best finish of the season for Michael Krall last week at Phoenix. He starts P8 here tonight. Paul Ellison, second top 5 finish of the season last week. He goes off P9. And first top 10 finish last week for Jan Van Leer. And he will round out your top 10 starters here tonight. Steve Roman, Ryan Dye in 11th and 12th, 2 heavy hitters there on row number 6. TJ Bartle's debut last week at Phoenix did not go to plan. He starts P13 here tonight. Kyle Zittel will start in P14. Kevin Sargent in the chat and also P15 on the starting grid. Ethan Patterson, career best finish for him last week at Phoenix. He starts P16 here tonight. Pascal Simard, Rodney Roberts, 17th and 18th. Paul Sargent, Brantley Gainey round out your top 20. It's Austin Holyfield, Kyle Duman, Kevin Cochran, Corey Rutherford, who's looking for a good bounce back after he was having a great run last week at Phoenix. 23rd, 24th. Cole Maxwell, DNF last week. He rolls off P25. Eric Breeding, Luke Peterson. James Efall is back. He rolls off 28th here tonight. And Daniel Murray out back on the inside of row 15 by himself in 29th. Matt, what are we going to be looking for as this 60-lap race from Indianapolis rolls along here today?
Yeah, well, some things to keep in mind here in the Venom Truck Series. As always, there are no fast repairs. There are lucky dogs and wave-arounds. The leader has the lane choice on the restarts as well. We're looking at some weather here. The track temperature is quite warm, a lot warmer than we usually see here in the Venom Truck Series. Currently at 110 degrees Fahrenheit. These guys are going to be slipping and sliding a little bit here at Indianapolis. And our fuel window for tonight, we're looking at about 25 to 30 laps, probably on the lower end of it, maybe around 26, 27, maybe 28 max is what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking you're right here with some of the testing that we've done for Truck 200. And wow, a track temp of 110. As the race rolls along, there may be some funky shadows, especially down the front straightaway here. But, man, these trucks are going to be loosey-goosey as we get ready to rock and roll around Indianapolis for 60 laps. Nathan Reynolds from the pole. He rockets to the line, the yard of bricks, and we are underway. Covers off Garrett Rainey quite nicely as 29 trucks dump into turn number 1 here at Indianapolis for the first time in Venom Truck Series history. Reynolds with a nice lead. Top 4 are all single file. Poliski leads another pack. They're side by side just outside of the top 10.
Yeah, single file all the way back to 10th. That's Ryan Dye, who just made a pass on Paul Ellison.
Dye is already up 2 spots as he overtakes Ellison at the line. But lap number 1 at Indianapolis for the Venom Truck Series belongs to Nathan Reynolds.
And Rainey tried to look to the inside of Reynolds there, couldn't make it stick. He was really way down under the white line, almost down into the grass. That's kind of the way you got to do it around here.
Chad Stearns holding a steady wheel behind them, trying to inch his way up. He had to shut the door on Jeff Langston, who got a little bit loose out of turn number 2 and lost quite a bit of time down the back straightaway. Challenge now for the lead. Here's Rainey on the inside. He might get some help from Stearns and Langston behind him. Stearns is going to stay high. Oh, wow, Langston, miscommunication there. He's not out of trouble yet. Trying to hold on to it. Man, he checked up the back half of the top 10 there.
Yeah, he stacked him up pretty good, too.
Yeah, I think he wanted to push Chad Stearns to help Garrett Rainey get up to the lead, but Rainey doesn't need any help. He goes up to P1 by himself. Either way, it was nearly disaster. So good on everybody to avoid a further mess. So Reynolds slips back to P2. It's still Chad Stearns in P3. Langston, despite the checkup in the last 2 laps, he still rides P4, but he's now got Andy Poliski right behind him, Jeremy McKinnon. Michael Krall, side-by-side battle for 8th right now. Behind Krall, it's Jan Van Leer on the outside, Will Salamone on the inside. And Ryan Dye in a scrap of his own for P10, still with Paul Ellison, and now Steve Roman in the mix as well.
And we've seen it already. We've seen a few passes, but when you have fresh tires on this track, it's pretty difficult to pass. We're going to have to let some laps click off here, I think, before we really start seeing some action.
3-car tussle for 11th right now is Ellison, who's being pushed out by Kyle Zittel. Steve Roman trying to fight back to the inside of both of them. And on an IndyCar, you can kind of get away with running that higher line. In some ways, it's the preferred line, maybe not for tire wear, but it actually doesn't bottle the car up too much. But not really tried that higher line that much, running side by side anyway. I think you could get away with entering a little bit high. But it's all going to come down to managing the tires here. And especially with a hot day like this, it's going to be tough to keep those rears under you.
Yeah, not only that, but, we've seen it a couple of times already this season. Fuel strategy is going to come into play here as well, possibly. To compare it to something that I actually saw in person, the 2011 Indianapolis, the Brickyard 400 at Indy, one of the greatest fuel strategy races I've ever seen. It was awesome. Paul Menard got his lone cup victory there that day, and I'll never forget it.
I didn't even think that this is going to get brought up, but I should have known.
I take every chance I get, partner.
Yeah. How about Garrett Rainey out front? He's led all but the first lap thus far as lap number 6 goes up on the board. Still looking for that first Venom Truck Series win. I think Garrett Rainey would probably just take a good run here today. He's got a best finish on the season of 12th up to this point. So it's great to see Garrett Rainey out front here. On the big 2-mile oval. Of course, this isn't really much like Michigan or Auto Club, but he's got a best finish of 10th at Michigan on a 2+ mile oval. And has quite a few podium finishes as well, including a couple of runners-up. But Garrett Rainey leading the way right now, but maybe not for long, as Reynolds got a great run there down the north chute. He ducks underneath of Rainey, and now will take the lead. So going to call the commentator's curse on that one, as Stearns and now Langston are going to freight train by him. I believe Andy Poliski just ducked on a pit road, is looking 3 wide for second.
Also missed a little bit back farther in the pack. Kevin Sargent got up into the wall. He made some contact with Rodney Roberts, I believe it was, and he ended up getting up into the wall coming out of turn number 3.
Yeah, quite a bit of shuffling there on that lap. I believe Tleski and Rutherford both were on pit road that lap.
And we're on board here with Jan Van Leer, and if you listen closely, you can really hear the tires squealing a little bit. So we're 8 laps into this thing, and tire wear is going to start playing a factor right around now, I would think. And we're going to start seeing some shuffling going on around the pack.
Yeah, Nathan Reynolds obviously is so good at managing his equipment. Garrett Rainey has slid back to 4th, but man, he was on the charge early. You got to think that part of that was Reynolds saying, "Okay, you can go on by. I'm just going to wait a couple of laps before I light it." And he was actually giving up a spot, I believe, to Jeremy McKinnon. Doesn't help, at least on my screen, that they're running very similar cars, but it looks like McKinnon has gotten past Rainey.
Yeah, they both have those blue front bumpers. Rainey, of course, sporting the red, white, and blue as he has all season so far. But McKinnon does get by him, and he's got 3 more trucks, actually 4 more, right behind him, ready to pounce. That's Carl Salamone, Ryan Dye, and Paul Ellison right there behind him.
Jan Van Leer has just come down pit road as well. So I wonder if these are drivers that are giving up on making it on one stop, which the fuel window is incredibly tight. Not saying it's impossible, but saying it's very unlikely.
And so Rainey's actually into the wall out of 2 now.
Oh, no. It's gone from bad to worse for Garrett Rainey. He's going to lose at least 2 spots heading into turn number 3 here. He might think about ducking onto pit road if he really clobbered the wall there. Truck to his inside is TJ Bartle.
And he called it. There goes Rainey.
Yeah, that's just a hopeless feeling. But you can take solace in knowing that some of these drivers are short pitting and potentially taking a longer final stint.
I kind of like it. We've seen it a lot this year. We have a lot. I mean, we have a pretty big field every time we come for the Venom Truck Series. So there's always at least a few that try some sort of an alternate strategy. And I just love it. I mean, it's come up to bite some people, and it's come up to help some people greatly already this season. And we see it just about every race. Somebody's trying some sort of different strategy to gain the advantage.
I tell you what else we see every race just about this season has been Jeff Langston up front. And what's been unfortunate about that is that he's really not come away with the results that he's been looking for. He's in the last handful of laps at every race, it seems like he's been involved in an accident that has not been his fault. Last week at Phoenix, it was rolling the dice on pit strategy and came up about a lap short.
Yeah, that race last week was wild. We thought we were going to be good on fuel, and lo and behold, we had a couple of guys run out of fuel right there at the end, and it cost them a lot of positions.
Just saw Ethan Patterson on pit road as well.
Luke Peterson's also made a couple of moves a little bit farther in the back. That's a battle for 17th, but he's gotten around Cochran and Holyfield here in the last lap and a half or so. He's trying to make some moves.
And Peterson is up 10 spots from his starting position. I tell you what, he is plugging away as he's going to rocket past Kyle Dumick here, who I think had to roll out of the throttle on corner exit. He is quietly plugging away here and looking pretty good to come away with Rookie of the Year if he keeps on this pace. Got a top 10 at Daytona. Finished just outside of the top 10 last week at Phoenix. Is keeping out of trouble. And Luke Peterson putting together a solid rookie campaign thus far. What's impressive about this look at the lead here is that Jeff Langston, as of now, and I hate to curse another driver, but not fading away, staying within probably 5 or 6 truck lengths. The gap last time was 0.3 of a second, and now it's 3.5 of a second, the deficit from Langston to Reynolds. So Langston is hanging right there. So is Chad Stearns. And Chad Stearns, in the best way possible, is like a snake in the grass because he is just always waiting for the opportunity to strike. And he is more than capable of taking advantage, as we found out this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's struck twice already this season. He's looking for a third tonight. And these top 3 are all within a second of each other. So, you know, a really stiff competition here. Langston, a little wiggle coming out of turn number 3.
Yeah, Langston has lost a little bit of time here on this lap. He's lost a couple of tenths, actually. So we've had 6 drivers hit pit road as of right now, from 24th down to 29th. Andy Poliski, Jan Van Leer, Corey Rutherford, Garrett Rainey, Ethan Patterson, Paul Sargent. I believe Kevin Sargent has just hit pit road as well.
We're on board right now with Chad Stearns. You see just how long these straightaways are. Then you got to go into those 90-degree corners. And the tires.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's one thing if you're going down those straightaways at 220 miles an hour in an Indy car, but these guys are topping out at maybe a $180, $185. It's really changes the dynamic of the track when you're hustling around it in a big-ass stock car.
Yeah, I mean, when you're hauling the mail like that into these corners in a stock car, it's a lot different. It is nothing close to what it is, in those open wheel cars. So it's you gotta let off pretty early, and those tires would get punished.
So Nathan Reynolds gave up the lead for a couple of laps to Garrett Rainey, but has since gotten it back. He's led now the majority of this race, continuing to extend his lead over Jeff Langston. Chad Stearns hanging back there in third. Jeremy McKinnon, Michael Krall now round out your top 5. It's Ryan Dye, Paul Ellison in 6th, Ryan Dye in 7th, Kyle Zittel in 8th, Steve Roman in 9th. TJ Bartle is up into the top 10. Now, to be fair to TJ Bartle, he was in the top 10 at the beginning stages of the race last week, came down to pit, and then was immediately involved in a crash. So didn't really get to see what he could do in terms of finishing out a race, but he did look good early in his first career Venom Truck Series start.
And he's looking good again here tonight. I mean, he's running with some of the cream of the crop right now. We got Salamoni and Vroman, Zittel, Dye all there right around him. Gainey Jr. as well. I mean, he's made his way up to the top of the heap here. And Krall is working on McKinnon still. He has been hounding the number 12 machine for the better part of at least 3 or 4 laps or so. And he's looking to make McKinnon make a mistake, but McKinnon doesn't make a whole lot of those, so we'll have to see how this one's playing out.
No, McKinnon's biggest 3 mistakes this season have all been related to pit road. 2 pit road speeding penalties in Michigan, and being less than a lap short on fuel last week at Phoenix. It cost him a podium finish, and realistically, came away P10, just not under power.
Yeah, I mean, if he would have had an extra lap of fuel, he actually might have won. I mean, he was hemorrhaging time because he was trying to save as much as possible.
Yeah, and I thought maybe he had blown a tire or had a tire wear critical or something and was nursing it, but really he was just trying to save as much fuel as possible. So that's, made me look a little silly. But now look at the back of Michael Krall here. That's Kevin Sargent. Kevin Sargent is on fresh tires, and he just pulled up to these two in a hurry. If you want to talk about the tire fall off, here's your evidence right here.
Yeah, I mean, every time we go to a cockpit view, we can hear the tires really hurting when they go around these corners. It's so good. Sargent's going to just go around the outside of Krall right now.
Buddy. That's a great feeling for Kevin Sargent. That's a terrible feeling if you're Michael Krall. Especially now, look at how much time he has lost to Jeremy McKinnon, letting Kevin Sargent by.
And McKinnon, I thought, was going to get into the wall there for a second coming out of 2. That was close. Krall's now going to look back to the inside. He's going to box him in.
Force in his hand. Sargent just came off pit road 2 or 3 laps ago. Man, McKinnon has to roll out of it there. I don't think he was expecting somebody to be his outside. Oh, contact Krall into the back bumper of McKinnon. Sends him up the racetrack. Yeah, these two are battling hard once again.
We don't really say this a whole lot because, most of the drivers and everybody knows, but it's just amazing to me how much like a real-life race this is playing out. I mean, when you think about a stock car race at Indianapolis, this is exactly what it looks like. It's just insane.
Once Reynolds gets back to the line here, I'd say we're within 6 or 7 laps of green flag pit stops for the rest of the field that has not already come down pit road.
It looked like Salamone back in 12th gave up a position. It looked like he got into the wall there for a second.
Here comes Reynolds to pit road. He ducks on lap number 19. That'll give the lead up to Jeff Langston. Chad Stearns follows him in. So does Ryan Dye. Kyle Zittel is in as well. So 4 drivers inside of the top 10 all make their way now on to pit road. And Jeff Langston leads lap number 20, the third different leader, 4th lead change of the race here with 41 laps to go.
All right, and we know that for those guys, it's going to be a 2-stop race. So they're basically cutting this thing in thirds. 20, 20, and 20 is what it looks like. Trying to just keep the tires as, as even as possible, I guess, on their runs.
We'll have to see if Langston is going to answer here. He is making his way out of turn number 4. He stays on the track. So Langston will stay out for another lap. So will McKinnon and Krall. Paul Ellison does the same. Steve Vroman, TJ Bartle, Brantley Gainey. Will Salamone does hit pit road from spot number 8. I believe that'll give spot number 8 now to Rodney Roberts. Great to see Rodney running up in the top 10 here. Eric Breeding stays out as well as Luke Peterson. So they are now your top 10. Chad Stearns did not cycle out very far behind Nathan Reynolds here. Just a handful of truck lengths between the two. So great stop for Stearns.
Yeah, and I'm looking for those two to just probably follow each other through this thing. I mean, especially when we have these new tires, not really going to be able to make a lot of passes unless there's a big mistake made by somebody.
Paul Ellison has hit pit road this time. Daniel Maury is doing the same. I believe it's the top 17 on your leaderboard that have yet to pit, minus Paul Ellison and now Austin Holyfield as they're getting service this time. So next time around will be the top 15 trucks that have yet to hit pit road for their first stop of the race. Realistically, they can only make it about another 3 or 4 laps. We haven't had any cautions here at Indianapolis thus far, so nobody's been able to really conserve that much fuel. Top 3 trucks all make it past the entrance of pit road, actually make that the top 5. Have all gone past pit road entry once again. fact, I don't think anybody is coming down pit road this time.
And I gotta wonder. We've seen McKinnon. I mean, we saw them gamble.
Yeah, they don't want to run it dry this time.
That just tells me that they're not afraid to. Maybe we'll see it again. Maybe they're thinking they can push this thing to 29, 30, maybe 31 laps on fuel. I mean, I would think if you weren't going to try that, to me, you would have probably come down pit road already, because the tire fall off is pretty massive. So I would think that they might be trying it.
Maybe. It would be pretty clutch, pun intended.
Rutherford's going to come down pit road. And McKinnon and Krall have a couple of trucks with fresh tires on them sitting right behind them. And oh no, Krall's going to get turned by one of them.
Oh my gosh, Krall is around. The caution is out for the first time.
And I think it was Ryan Dye.
It was. And Dye made some, oh my gosh. Dye made some pretty significant contact with the wall, and it actually flung him backwards. Yeah, Ryan Dye with the meatball flag. That is going to be the end of his race, more than likely. Wow.
We're going to back it up here. That's Ryan Dye in the 15, Krall in the 11. Krall goes all the way to the outside. Ryan Dye sits kind of on his inside, trying to tell him, hey, I'm going to try to make a move on your inside here. I have fresh tires. And I don't think he was all the way there. Maybe pushed it in a little farther than Krall thought he was going to. And they just make a little bit of contact with the front and the left rear bumper of Krall's truck. It's going to spin Krall around and die. Huge contact with the wall. Flies about 5 to 10 feet in the air. And I don't think Krall actually took a whole lot of damage on that incident. A little bit of bumper damage, I'm sure, but nothing that's going to be detrimental, probably.
He is still rolling. Still scored inside of the top 10. I'm sure he will. I mean, he'll have to come down pit road, as all the leaders are doing that. Langston, McKinnon, Vroman, Bartle, and Gainey. Michael Krall then behind them. Rodney Roberts is in, so is Eric Breeding, Luke Peterson, James Efall, Kevin Cochran, Cole Maxwell. Andy Poliski was the first truck on the pit road earlier. He is back on pit road now. Kyle Dumick is on pit road as well. And Jan Van Leer back on pit road as well as Garrett Rainey, Paul Ellison as well, Paul Sargent. So that should give control of this field back to Nathan Reynolds. There are a couple of trucks in front of him, but they are going to be looking for the wave around here. And I believe Ethan Patterson has gotten the free pass. So he will be the 23rd truck on the lead lap. Maury will be number 24. So will Samard. So the top 25 trucks will then be on the lead lap. Wow. What that's well, it's not unheard of, but it's certainly always surprising when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, with the group of drivers that we have here, an incident like that, it's bound to happen for sure. I mean, we're talking about auto racing here, but it is surprising when we see some of these guys get together like that, just because there's so much respect between them and such talent with these drivers that it does surprise you every once in a while when that happens. But this is auto racing. That's just the nature of the beast, I suppose.
So caution number 1 of the night comes out on lap number 23. And here go the wave around cars. I'd imagine it's 1 to green here. We'll restart on lap 28, 33 laps to go when we come back around. Nathan Reynolds and now Chad Stearns. Kyle Zittel is going to shuffle out to P3. How about that? Will Salamone, he's plugging away here as well. He's in P4. Jeff Langston, I believe, will be in spot number 5. There are kind of trucks all over the place right now. So trying to sort it out. Steve Roman, P6. TJ Bartle, Brantley Gainey, Eric Breeding, and then Rodney Roberts playing the strategy game, getting himself up inside of the top 10 as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of time on this final pace lap around Indianapolis to get things sorted out here. Looks like we're going to do it. They're headed towards turn number 3 right now. We're going to get things settled out and get ready to go green.
Into the North Chute of one of the coolest places that you can go. Obviously, a bucket list track for any sports fan, but also motorsports fan as well. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Speedway, Indiana. Hey, while you're there, maybe go to Daredevil Brewing Company. Seared into my brain forever. Reynolds and Stearns, great launch for Reynolds here at the restart zone. We are back to green. Zittel underneath the Stearns for second now. Salamone around the outside of Langston. He will slot in P4 outright. Most of the top 10 is single file. Still battling side by side for second. Zittel trying to get up in front of his team driver, Chad Stearns, for second.
And Stearns is not going away. He is railing it on the outside with those new tires right now.
But here comes Zittel right back to the inside. The other Zittel Inc. Racing driver is Will Salamone. They are 2, 3, and 4 right now. But Nathan Reynolds back out front at Indianapolis. Oh, Michael Krull and maybe Rodney Roberts may have made a little bit of contact there.
I think Langston got the right rear of his truck into the wall just a tad as well. Maybe just a little scrape, though. Not too bad.
Roberts going to let Krull through. That is for spot number 11. And Krull will now try and go to work on Luke Peterson, who's running inside the top 10 again.
And all of a sudden, it's gotten a little dark here on the south side of the track.
Yes. Notice that as well. I think it's actually dark most of the way around the track now as they head into the North Chute. It's still pretty shady.
So maybe looking for some cooler track temperatures. Let me take a look at the weather here real quick. As I say, maybe cooler track temperatures. The track temperature is at 114 degrees now.
Now, I did look earlier, and it was up to 117, so it is down a few degrees, but it started this race at 110, so we're looking to just get back to the line of scrimmage here, really.
And it's doing our drivers no favors here. That's for certain.
So the top 5 have broken away. Langston maybe thinking about having to go to the inside of Stearns, who was finally giving up the battle for second to Kyle Zittel. Kyle Zittel having a great run here tonight. He was running great in the Daytona Charity Shootout last week, was one of the 6 drivers to qualify in there, or one of the 3 drivers, rather, to qualify in. And had quite the showing until everybody but the top 3 cars got wiped out in the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, Zittel won 2 of the qualifier races. He didn't get another qualification into the race because he already made it, but he did win 2 of them on Friday night and was looking really good there towards the end of the race on Saturday as well. But as you said, kind of went up in flames towards the end of the race with only 3 drivers making it to the end. One of them, Lightning McQueen.
Yes, Lightning McQueen, the absolute legend. And speaking of legends, here goes Langston underneath of Stearns. This is the only battle for position on the track as they run. And, man, they're running tight there out of turn number 3 into the north chute. Vroman now going to try and peek underneath of Stearns. Ooh! Wow. Real loose there for Vroman on the bottom.
Yeah, Vroman was really down there low, and he got pretty loose. He was able to corral it. Didn't really lose a lot of time, though. He did lose about a truck length and a half or a couple.
And Rodney Roberts has just lagged out of the server. That's too bad. He was having a pretty good run here tonight. Stearns may have a run here on Langston. He had to get out of the throttle out of turn number 2. Here goes Stearns looking to get back up into P3.
And as we've been watching the battle in the front, somebody that's been running like a bat out of hell is Michael Crawley. He's made it all the way up to 7th place already. He's on a mission.
Stearns fades away from Langston and now is going to find himself with his hands full of Steve Vroman. Kyle Zittel just pulled right up to the tailgate of Nathan Reynolds. Didn't have a go at him as Vroman really running Stearns tight there out of turn number 1. Zittel got a little bit loose there on a turn number 2. Steve Langston. How about Jeff Langston? I've combined so many names here this season. That's the one I shouldn't forget, though, is Jeff Langston is going to go underneath of Zittel now. He will grab spot number 2.
Yeah, and you see how bad, if you just bobble the truck a little bit going out of the corners, with these big, long straights, if you bobble it out of either 2 or 4, you could lose a lot of time down these long stretches.
So a healthy amount of battling inside of the top 5, but none of it is for the lead as Nathan Reynolds continues to show the way here on lap number 34. We should need one more pit stop here. But if a caution were to come out from this point forward, they should be good to the end.
Yeah, you would think they would. I mean, if I was one of these drivers, we were so close to that halfway mark in kind of our fuel window. I didn't really look. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody wasn't trying to save some fuel right after they got fuel on that last pit stop under caution.
Oh, most definitely.
Krall's going to take a look on the inside of Salamone, and he's going to make it work beautifully. Actually, Salamone's going to struggle big time out of there. Gainey Jr.'s looking to the inside of him now as well.
Yeah, Salamone took a square corner and made it even more square, and he's going to have no momentum down the front straightaway as a result. He loses 3 spots. Not only to Krall and to Gainey, but to Bartle as well.
Yeah, that's just what we were talking about. If you bobble it a little bit out of 2 or 4, you can lose a lot of time, and it really bit Salamone there. He loses 3 spots down 1 straightaway.
And here goes Steve Vroman through on Jeff Langston now. Vroman is up to second. Zittel was starting to fade away just a little bit, but now he comes roaring back to life and is looking to come back and challenge for spot number 3. And while all this is happening, Nathan Reynolds really is not getting away. How much of that do you think is like an equal playing field between these trucks, and how much of it do you think it's Nathan Reynolds conserving his tires?
Yeah, I mean, I think Reynolds is one of the best at trying to hang on and save his equipment and his tires. But that being said, we were only, we're like maybe 7-8 laps into the run. The tires should have been pretty equal up to that point, and now we're going to start getting to the point where we're going to start seeing some fall off. So I think part of it was just kind of where we were at in that tire run in general, as Reynolds might be letting Vroman by here. Really no fight going on right now. But Vroman's made up a lot of positions here on this restart from when we restarted.
He's come from fairly deep in the field, as he was one of the trucks that was still out on the track when the caution came out. Nathan Reynolds now is going to come to pit road. So 25 laps is going to be his, actually make it 24 when he crosses back across the line. That's going to be his final pit run of the evening here.
And Stearns went with him as well. We saw they were the first two to pit on our first run also to begin the race. They went to the pits right around lap 9 or 10, so this is right on par with what they did on that first run as well.
They were not the first two on the pit road here since the green flag has come out. Ethan Patterson came into the pits last time by. Zittel and Gainey now side by side through the north chute. Still side by side heading into turn number 4. Zittel is going to give the spot up. He may be coming to pit road this time. And indeed he is.
He is. Krall's going to come with him too, and that's McKinnon behind them. So these guys they don't want to let Stearns and Reynolds have any leg up on them. They're coming to the pits as well.
Looking for anybody else ducking onto pit road this time, not seeing anybody. Stearns again came out right behind Reynolds and actually chopped the gap in half between them. He is just a truck length and a half behind Reynolds, who's looking to cycle out to the lead here towards the end of this race. We'll have to see. Steve Roman right now with almost a second advantage over Jeff Langston, one of the biggest leads that we've seen in this race thus far. The Taco Chalupa Batman Memorial at the Brickyard is over halfway done. Coming to the line this time, Steve Roman will put lap number 39 up on the board. It'll be 22 laps to go. Just one caution. We've had, I believe, 4 different leaders with 6 or 7 lead changes. That's just a guess, though. I don't know where I can find those stats at on my sim racing app. Nevertheless, it's been an interesting one. It never fails here with the Venom trucks. There's always something going on, whether it's crashing or pit strategy or hard side-by-side battle, and there's you're never at a loss for something to look at and gawk at and talk about.
That's for certain, especially when you have this many I mean, we still have 28 trucks out on the track as we speak, and I apologize if you mentioned this already, but McKinnon, he had a great pit stop. He came out in front of everybody that he pit with and everybody that pit the lap before them as well.
No, I did not mention that, but you're right. He is about a little under a second clear now of Nathan Reynolds as Reynolds is trying to close back in on Jeremy McKinnon. So, yeah, great pit stop for McKinnon. But as he's getting these tires up to temperature, Reynolds is clawing his way right back in up to him. They're going to be separated by about 2 or 3 truck lengths here into turn number 3. Stearns and Krall are right behind Reynolds. And yeah, here comes Reynolds now to the inside of McKinnon.
Oh, McKinnon way out wide coming out of 4. He's going to lose 2 spots here, maybe a 3rd.
Yeah, it's tough sledding on some old tires. Here comes the race leader to pit road. Steve Roman is ducking in. Jeff Langston will go right on by. He will assume the race lead. Bartle, Van Leer, Ellison, Breeding, all going by as well. Luke Peterson. Kevin Cochran, who is back in the field. I don't think I've mentioned him outside of the grid thus far. He's now inside of the top 10. Haven't seen him since IRP a couple of weeks ago.
And TJ Bartle, the rookie in the 59, having a great run here. Currently sits in 3rd.
Daniel Morey is also on pit road. And we'll see if Langston is going to come down this time or if anybody else in the top 5 will hit pit road here with 20 laps to go. Comfortably inside of the fuel window here. And I know we said that last week, but we know we're right this time. Comfortably inside of the fuel window with 1 more stop, that is. Nobody can make it if they haven't pit already. And Michael Krall just came over the radio to tell Chad Stearns that they left his gas cap open. So I think Chad Stearns may be pitting to put his gas cap back on.
I think Kroll would like Chad Stearns to pit so they can put that cap back on, but something tells me that's probably not going to be the case.
And McKinnon came out in front of Reynolds. I wonder if he took 2 tires, because he is well off of the pace set by Reynolds now. As it's Reynolds, Stern, Kroll, and now Vroman, all nose to tail. In theory, this will be the battle for the lead once the green flag pit cycle ends. And yeah, Jeremy McKinnon is almost 3 seconds, actually 3.5 seconds behind this group. Kyle Zitta is between them as well.
Yeah, you must be right, because he came out in front of everybody that came to pit there in those first couple of laps when people started coming in. He was out in front of Reynolds, and he is well behind many of those drivers now. Reynolds, Stearns, Kroll, Vroman, Zittel, and Salamone have all gotten around McKinnon.
Ooh. Vroman and Kroll nearly made contact there on the bottom on turn number 4. As Bartle is battling for the actual second position right now with Brantley Gainey. He's been making a charge, trying to pass him on the outside, and it's not working, but he can't quite clear him.
Yeah, stock cars around Indianapolis. That's a tough ask to try to pass somebody around the outside.
Well, Bartle's going to get the spot now as Gainey's going to dump off onto pit road. So is Jan Van Leer, who really sends it in there. Now, they just passed the commitment line, so he wasn't speeding. But a more aggressive on-pit entry than the 22 of Brantley Gainey was. So it's still Langston out front of TJ Bartle. Paul Ellison is yet to come down pit road. Luke Peterson running P4, Eric Breeding P5, Kevin Cochran in 6th, James Efall in 7th. Those are the drivers that have not pit yet. I'm not sure. Was Andy Poliski the first driver onto pit road here? Or has he not pit yet?
To be honest, I am not sure.
Okay, he's down in P9.
I would have to guess that he probably has not come yet.
Langston is into pit road. So the race leader is now TJ Bartle. Career lap led number 1 for TJ Bartle, the rookie. Ellison stays out, so does Luke Peterson, Kevin Cochran.
Ellison and Peterson have been nose to tail for quite a while.
Paul Sargent, Cole Maxwell, Corey Rutherford all on pit road as well. And slowly but steadily watching these drivers that pit early work their way up the leaderboard. Steve Vroman has gotten around Nathan Reynolds, so in theory, Vroman will be the race leader here in a few laps.
And we saw this after the last pit stops as well. Vroman on new tires, he is a rocket ship. He has been putting those tires to the pavement and doing it well. But we have 15 laps to go here. We're going to have to see what he's going to have towards the end of this thing.
Watching for TJ Bartle to think about making a pit stop. He can make it probably another 5 or 6 or laps to maybe even a little bit more before he has to come down pit road. But it's just a question of how much time are you willing to give up here on old tires to try and be out in the lead if, say, a caution were to come out. And if Bartle's willing to mix it up on pit strategy, he fits right in with the Venom Truck Series boys. I'll tell you that much.
That's for sure. I mean, if your Bartle and a caution comes out, everybody pretty much is going to have to come for tires. So he's going to be in a spot right where he wants to be. Fresh tires just like everybody else. He's going to be able to get his fuel, and he's going to be right up there in the mix. So that's his goal right now, I would have to think, because I don't think there's any way he makes it on fuel as we stand. He's waiting for a caution to hopefully come out at some point.
So we think the top 8 trucks are still out on track, have yet to come down pit road.
is looking to the inside of Stearns now. This is for 11th on the track as we sit.
He's going to take the spot.
So when everything cycles around, that will have been for a podium position 3rd.
Look how far ahead Vroman is ahead of Reynolds.
That's what I'm telling you. I mean, he did this before we came for green flag pit stops, too. When he has those fresh tires, he must be pushing them as hard as he can, trying to get out in front as far as possible. And I would have to guess that, maybe Reynolds is saving a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe Vroman is just that much faster than everybody else.
I remember the Michigan race, for anybody that was watching that. Vroman was on a one-stop strategy. Most other drivers were on a 2. He was actually passing for the outright lead in that race before the 2-stop drivers made their final stop. I mean, he was just zipping and was going to win that race. I think that's fair to say if the caution had not come out. I think he had enough fuel. He was not going to get challenged by anybody else. So looking for a bit of redemption here if we stay clean and green. But TJ Bartle is still out on the track as the race leader. Working lap number 49, coming to lap 50. Is this going to be the lap that the race leader will come down pit road?
Garrett Rainey's gotten a little bit out of shape currently. He's currently in 6th. I think he was actually in maybe 4th or 5th and got really bent out of shape coming out of 2. I didn't see exactly what happened, but he was really slow down the backstretch there.
Bartle stays down. So does Ellison. Peterson stays out as well. Cochran is not coming in. James E. follows back in the field leader tonight. He's in the top 5. He is not coming down pit road. Rainey and Breeding stay out as well. Breeding has just been overtaken for position on the track by Steve Vroman. I'm not too sure Breeding didn't pit yet. Maybe he pit for right side tires. And then again, maybe not. It actually wouldn't make sense. Never mind. I don't think he's pitting yet.
And Vroman's now going to go through on Rainey, who Rainey looks like he's standing still. That's how fast Vroman went by him.
Yeah, Rainey's last lap was a 58.911. And 3 seconds quicker than that is Steve Vroman.
Yeah. Whoa!
Oh, trouble!
Kroll and Reynolds. Kroll's in another incident.
Reynolds up into the wall. No meatball flying, but quite a hit there. And the caution is back out. It's been an interesting night for RNS Motorsports and Michael Kroll.
And Reynolds, you're right. He hit the wall hard. We're going to go take a look. But just want to mention before we go take a look, the guys that did not come to pit yet, this is going to benefit them greatly.
I think what you're going to see is a truck in front of Nathan Reynolds, a slow truck. Kroll is already looking to the inside of Reynolds. Reynolds then tries to go to the inside of this truck. And they are pretty much jockeying for the same real estate and make contact.
Yeah, and you're right. Kroll was on the inside of Reynolds, and that's exactly what happened. Reynolds was going to try to get around the 26, and he ends up getting punted hard into the wall. Reynolds does.
Hello, William Leach in the chat. Anybody else that's hanging out with us here tonight, drop us a chat.
We actually have a couple of drivers who have stayed out.
Yeah, the majority of the field has come down pit road. But some of these drivers are staying out to get a wave around.
I do believe Langston and Poliski have stayed out on the lead lap, though.
Yes. Poliski, or rather Langston and Poliski, I think are going to take over the lead. Corey Rutherford is going to be trapped 2 laps down. I think he stayed out to get a wave around. But everybody else came down pit road. It's just going to be Poliski and Langston. This is the one thing we have not seen this season in all of the pit strategy. The last caution, or a late race caution, rather. We have not seen drivers stay out. This could be a game changer here.
It could be a game changer in the fact that we might stack the field up. I mean, we've been talking all night long how much tire wear has played a factor in this race, and you know, Langston and Poliski. Langston honestly doesn't have a whole lot of time on these tires, though. He stayed out for quite a while, and came down pit road very, very late. So he's gonna probably have the freshest of them. I think Poliski has quite a bit of wear on his tires, so he might be the one to maybe hemorrhage some time here due to that, but we'll have to see.
And I'm not too sure that James Efall has not taken 2 tires here on this stop. He had yet to come down pit road and was, I think, just inside of the top 5 when that caution came out. But he came out ahead of Bartle, who was the race leader. So I think a 2-tire strategy for Bartle, or for Efall rather. TJ Bartle rolled the dice, and it's going to pay off because he is going to start on the outside of second row here. Paul Ellison, another late stayer. So is Luke Peterson, Kevin Cochran as well. Then it's Steve Roman, who we thought for sure was going to cycle out to the lead with a huge advantage. He now has to work back from P8. Jan Van Leer, Eric Breeding, round out your top 10. Chad Stearns has been great this whole race. He's back in 11th. Kyle Zittel was up front looking prime. He's P13. Michael Kroll involved in 2 incidents here tonight. P15 for him. McKinnon back in 16th. This field is all topsy-turvy.
Yeah, it's topsy-turvy, and I'll tell you what, somebody we're going to want to watch is Steve Roman. We've been talking about all night how on new tires he has been the fastest of the bunch. But we're going to see if he can get it done from P8 here.
Some drivers on no tires. Some drivers on 2. Fast drivers with work to do. 7 laps to go. Not a great start for Efall. Top 3 fall into line single file. Bartle behind Poliski. Bartle on 4 fresh tires. Poliski on some old rubber. Here goes Bartle underneath the Poliski.
There's a big pack behind them as well, getting really stacked up. Vroman, whoa, a little bit of contact between Vroman and Peterson there.
Everybody holds on to it. Efall in the middle of a 3-wide sandwich there through turn number 3. He is falling fast through this field. But up front, it's still Jeff Langston. He's got TJ Bartle behind him now on fresh tires. 6 to go.
Boy, and farther back there in the pack, they are all bunched together. That's Kroll, Stearns, McKinnon. All those drivers who thought they were going to cycle back to the front have been buried back here now. They are back in 11th. Zittel's part of that group. Salamoni's part of that group as well. They're like 9th through 13th right now.
Look who has gotten themselves out of the gander behind him. That is Steve Roman. He's about to challenge for P3. He looks to the inside of Poliski now into the 3rd turn. He's going to take it easily. Vroman is not done. Restarted P8 on this restart in just 2 laps. Has gotten up 5 spots. Everybody place your bets in the chat. With 5 laps to go, who was walking away with this one here at Indianapolis? Oh, Peterson and Kroll just made
again.
contact. Kroll into the wall. The yellow is out again. It has not been Michael Kroll's night here tonight at Indianapolis.
Yeah, certainly a tough go. He's been caught up in 3 different incidents now, and I think that one's going to be the end of his night finally.
Yeah, it's too bad. I don't think the first 2 were really his fault. This time, I think it looks like he drifted. Yeah, he drifted up the track into the side of Luke Peterson is really what it looked like. So what a night of frustration. And the fact that Kroll was running in the top 5 pretty much all night, that's just that's unfortunate that he's not going to get to finish the race.
This is Kroll working behind Zittel in the 53. It's Peterson in that white truck on the top. And, yeah, I think you're right. Looked like Peterson was really holding his line there. Kroll just came up the track a little bit too much, wasn't clear. And he's not able to save this one. He pounds the inside wall in turn 2. I tell you who this probably benefited the most. It's probably Jeff Langston. Langston, who was on some older tires, not extremely old, but he had a few laps on him. He was going to have even more tire wear, but now we've had a couple of caution periods, and he's going to be restarting with only 2 to go. It's going to be a natural green-white checkered, and he's going to be able to conserve and save a little tire here.
I think that's a double-edged sword. I do agree with you on that. I think the other front, though, is the fact that he had a 1-second advantage over Bartle and Vroman, and it wasn't going away that quickly. I think he needed the distance between the 2, but now there are a couple of heat cycles on the tires that these guys have, so tire wear, it's going to swing still in the favor of Bartle and Vroman, but maybe less so. I do agree with you on that front.
Well, the good thing for Langston is he's going to get to control the race start, so he might be able to jump out and get a little bit of a sizable lead to try to fend off Bartle and really fend off Vroman, who has been just running like crazy here tonight.
Austin Holyfield there gets the free pass. I think we're going to have one more time around here, so we are going to have to go to a green-white checkered. It'll be 61 laps of the distance here tonight. So you just get an extra 2.5 miles to really top you off if you need it. Let's do a full field rundown here while we got a little. Jeff Langston, TJ Bartle will be on the front row here for the restart. Steve Roman, Andy Poliski then on row 2. Paul Ellison, Jan Van Leer on row 3. Kevin Cochran, Will Salamone on row 4. Kyle Zittel, Luke Peterson on row 5. Jeff Langston just called over the radio. He says that he is going to be taking the inside here. Chad Stearns, Jeremy McKinnon on row 6. Brantley Gainey Jr. and Eric Breeding on row 7. Pascal Samar, James Efall on row 8. Nathan Reynolds still on the track, running 17th. He'll have Daniel Murray to his outside. Garrett Rainey, Kyle Dumig, 19th and 20th. Austin Holyfield, Cole Maxwell, 21st and 22nd. Those are the last trucks on the lead lap. One lap down, Kevin Sargent, Ethan Patterson. Michael Kroll is being scored right now in 25th. He'll have 2 more drivers that will pass him. It'll be Corey Rutherford and Paul Sargent, who are each 2 laps down. And DNFs then from Michael Kroll, who will finish, I believe, in 27th. Rodney Roberts in 28th, and Ryan Dye in P29. All right. What's Langston got to do to hold off the hungry pack of hyenas behind him?
Well, I mean, we're only going to have 2 laps here. I think the key thing is the restart. He's got to have a great restart here. If he doesn't, he's going to be in trouble from Roman, who's right behind him. And even Bartle, we saw Bartle hang around on the outside of a couple of drivers for quite a while. So Bartle's able to run the outside pretty good as well. He's gonna need to get out front here by at least a half a second or more on this restart if he wants a shot, I think.
It's not if you're going to get attacked, it's where you're going to get attacked from. And he be getting ready for a full containment defense here. We'll have to see. Out of the north chute, into turn number 4. Pace truck is about to hang a left. It's Langston on the inside. TJ Bartle hanging back a bit in his second career Venom Truck Series race. On the outside of the front row, coming to green-white checkered attempt number 1, Steve Roman, Andy Poliski behind them. Langston, great restart. Bartle checks up the outside line. Oh, they're wrecking. Jan Van Leer goes around. It's the big one. That is almost the entire back half of the field. That was huge.
That is what you would call a stack up. Goodness gracious.
It all started up front. TJ Bartle did not get a good restart. The entire outside line stacks up.
The 09 of Kevin Sargent was on his side there for a little bit. You see Zittel trying to turn it around. Wow, that was something. And like you said, it all started with Bartle, who I think just spun his tires a little bit, got into the wall, and it was on from there.
Good God. It'd be easier to tell you who was not in this wreck. Kyle Zittel's involved, Brantley Gainey, Chad Stearns, Pascal Samar, Nathan Reynolds is in this one, James Efall, Will Salamone, Brantley Gainey, Kyle Dumig, Kevin Sargent, Corey Rutherford. Who was that just piled in there at the end of the Ethan Patterson. Austin Holyfield checks up with an inch or less to spare and misses it. But, man, a lot of good trucks, a lot of good drivers in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what really happened here. Bartle just didn't really go on the restart. And
yeah, he'd been, like, hanging back like half a truck length from Langston, maybe anticipating a start. The problem is Langston still got the jump on him.
So that happens, and it just stacks the entire rest of the field up. Jan Van Leer's going to get turned. That's where the chaos really ensues. Zittel's going to get into him, and a lot of your top drivers in the series right now are going to be caught up in it. McKinnon is able to go around on the outside, but 2 race wins. Stearns gets hard into Jan Van Leer. And from here, everybody else is going to start piling in. My goodness.
Not really saying much for Chad Stearns to be involved in an accident. He usually has to be involved in an accident for him to be allowed to win the race. He might still win this race, honestly.
I want to try to find somebody that's going to have a really good viewpoint of this.
While you're looking for that, I'm going to tell you the drivers that have meatball flags after that crash. Brantley Gainey, Corey Rutherford, Nathan Reynolds, Kyle Zittel, Ethan Patterson, Will Salamone, and Kevin Sargent all presumably will not finish this race.
So this is Ethan Patterson in the 81. We're going to just go live straight through with a cockpit view here. And that's how quickly it happens.
Turn 200 is cursed here at Indianapolis. We always got to find some way to really mess things up for the drivers.
Yeah, we've certainly had some big ones in our day here in Indianapolis, that's for sure. I'm hoping that we can get out of this one without wrecking literally the entire field, but don't
the night is
count
young.
Your chickens before they hatch, I suppose.
Well, Jeff Langston. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for those of you that are confused, go take a look at the finale of the RL Daredevil Series Season 2 that just wrapped up a few weeks ago here at Indianapolis. It was a great race, but just watch the last restart, and you're gonna see something. Well, spectacular is one way to put it, I suppose.
Something tells me it's going to make the not top 10 of iRacing for the month of December. That's just a guess, though. We'll have to see. Look at how many trucks are lined up behind the pace truck here. It's not many. Or at least there's a big gap between half the field.
Yeah, there's a few coming out of the pits. Reynolds is still trying to get some damage fixed, probably. Either that or he just wants new tires. Yeah, I mean, the field is nearly in half at this point.
So it's still Langston up front, though, but now he's got Steve Roman to his outside. And you mentioned it. You were the first one to point it out, how good Steve Roman has been on new tires. He's got newer tires, although they have 2 heat cycles on them now. Heat cycles, rather. Good God. How about heat cycles?
Those Eagles have some heat cycles in them.
Those Heat Eagles, the Goodyear cycles. So we'll have to see what Steve Roman can do on the outside, as it's Jeff Langston who has control of the restart again on green-white checkered attempt number 2. Langston on the inside, Roman on the outside. If Langston could pull it off here, it'd be career win number 10. He'd be the first to double digits. Ellison and Bartle behind them. It's another great restart for Jeff Langston.
Langston with a great jump. No pile up in the back of the field. If Roman stays in second here, he's got Bartle, Ellison, and Poliski behind him, rounding out the top 5.
Could be another top 5 run for Paul Ellison here. TJ Bartle still hanging tough in a podium position. They're side by side behind them for 5th. As McKinnon inside of Poliski, and he's going to take the spot away. Now here comes Roman. He's there. Less than a car length. White flag. Roman closing in again on Langston. Is he going to make the move here? Looks slow. Langston shuts the door.
Roman got loose out of 1. Hopefully it doesn't kill his run down the backstretch here.
Langston got a better exit. It's going to be an uphill battle for Roman, but it's not impossible as McKinnon goes to the inside of Bartle for 3rd. Roman again peeking to the inside of Langston. Nothing happening. Run through the north chute for the final time into turn number 4. Is Langston going to hang on, or is Roman going to get the run down the front straightaway? No momentum out of 4. It's going to be Jeff Langston to the line. He's going to win it at Indianapolis. And Jeff Langston is the first Venom Truck Series driver into double digits. It's career win number 10. Roman in second. Jeremy McKinnon powers his way up to P3 on the final restart. Ellison and Bartle round out your top 5. But it's going to be Jeff Langston, 1 week removed from running out of fuel on the final lap at Phoenix. He's finally going to get the result that he's deserved this entire season. Not too sure. We did not have an incident on the final lap. I believe Will Salamone was involved in an accident on the final lap while you watched Jeff Langston celebrate. I'm going to go back and try and find that one.
And Langston in the 21, this awesome Gravedigger scheme is doing the donuts around the bricks here at Indianapolis. I tell you what, it never gets old.
I was mistaken there. Salamone was actually in the pits. He called out an accident, though, so something happened. I just can't find it. But Jeff Langston takes the win in the first Venom Truck Series race here at Indianapolis. Is the celebration over?
It is. The celebration is
quick.
over.
Man, I guess when you've done it 10 times, you keep them short and sweet. Let's while we wait for our podium finishers to hop into the waiting for interview room, let's go ahead and run through the full finishing order then. As we mentioned, it's Langston in first, Roman second, McKinnon third, Ellison fourth, Bartle in P5. Then further down in the top 10, Andy Poliski will finish P6. Kevin Cochran, a top 10 here tonight for him. He goes P7. Luke Peterson, best career finish for him as well. He goes P8. Eric Breeding in ninth. Garrett Rainey rounds out your top 10. Best finish of the season, I believe, for Pascal Simard as well. He will finish at P11. Austin Holyfield, best career finish for him in P12 here tonight. Best career finish, I believe, also for James Efall. He will finish in P13. Daniel Morey, I believe, also with a best career finish. Actually, no, it ties his best career finish at Daytona. So he will go P14 here tonight. Kyle Dumig will go 15th. Then Nathan Reynolds clears the meatball flag. Will finish up in P16. Then it is Cole Maxwell 1 lap down in 17th. Chad Stearns also 1 lap down, as well as Jan Van Leer 18th and 19th. Paul Sargent 2 laps down in 20th. Brantley Gainey 2 laps down in 21st. Kyle Zittel 2 down in 22nd. Corey Rutherford 2 down in 23rd. The DNFs from here on out, from 24th down to 29th, it's Will Salamone, Ethan Patterson, Kevin Sargent, Michael Kroll, Ryan Dye, and Rodney Roberts. Ryan Dye was actually able to come back out onto the track and overtake Rodney Roberts for the 28th position. So he must have gotten his meatball wrapped up there towards the end of the race. Alrighty, waiting hopefully for Jeremy McKinnon to hop in, and there he is. He just hopped in, so we're going to go ahead and pull him up into booth 200 here to kick off our podium interviews on the night. P3 tonight, you were all over the place throughout this race just because of the way that the strategy shook out, but you come away with your second podium of the season, and a hard-fought one at that.
Yeah, I'm a little under the weather right now. I recently just tested positive for COVID, so I'm just kind of...
no.
Yeah, so I just... Hard fought is an understatement. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I was bouncing around from the top 5 all the way to the back and avoided that big crash on the front stretch on that restart. And yeah, I don't even know what to say.
Well, I'll keep it to one question then. Matt, do you have anything for Jeremy here?
No, I'm just going to let him get to it. A really hard-fought third place here tonight. I was going to ask him about that wreck at the end. He went around on the outside there. Any words of wisdom to anybody else if that happens?
Close your eyes and pray.
Well, anybody you want to give a shout-out to here tonight?
My teammates, Andy and Jeff and Steve. These guys are unbelievable. They're so helpful, and I don't know, my family for allowing me to take the time to do this on Tuesday nights, and Corey Rutherford for my paint scheme. He does an awesome job at him.
Well, there you go. We appreciate you coming out tonight, and appreciate the time as always. And get better soon, and all the best to you and yours.
Will do. Thank you.
All righty, that is a third place finish for Jeremy McKinnon under the weather. Man, that's a great performance then to come away with P3 for him. Let's go ahead and pull up our P2 finisher then. That is the hard-charging Steve Roman. And quite the spectacle there on the first green-white checkered, or actually the final regular restart, I think. Watching you work your way from 8th up to 4th in just a handful of laps. You were absolutely screaming through the field there. And come up one spot short here tonight.
Yeah, we just couldn't quite get there against our teammate there, Jeff. He had a strong truck, and we tried everything we could and just couldn't quite make it. But, yeah, that was a great finish coming up through the field like that. Really proud.
Now, when you were lining up on, I guess, the first green-white checkered, would you have rather been on the inside or the outside there? What was going to be your best way to try and get around Jeff?
I was really hoping for the inside. I was a little bit stronger than he was coming out of 2, but then he'd make it up and get me coming into 3 and 4. So I wanted to get as much of a jump as I could on him as soon as I could.
Matt, what do you got for Steve?
Steve, you were blasting through the field all night, brother. Is there anything different that you started doing at some point through the race, or was there anything specific that you think just worked well for you here at Indianapolis while you were so fast?
Well, the first run there, we weren't quite sure how the pit stops were going to line up, so we were kind of trying to save fuel and see if we could make it on one stop if we had to. And then when that caution came out, we knew it was on, so we just went full out and gave it everything we could.
I think this is the first time this season that you've come out on the wrong end of the strategy, but you overcame it with some awesome top-tier driving. And it's awesome to finally get to talk to you, finally get you up here on the podium in booth 200. So who do you want to give a shout-out to here tonight?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I want to give a shout-out to our teammates with Broke Guy Racing and, of course, our sponsors at None of Your Beeswax Apiary.
Love it, love it, love it. You're living my dream of being a beekeeper. That's what I want to do here before too long. But appreciate the time. Good to finally talk to you, and no doubt we'll be talking to you more down the line here.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Look forward to it.
All righty, and now for the first time in booth 200, we've got a race-winning Jeff Langston. He's finally going to come out on top here tonight. I was starting to think that he was going to be our new cursed driver, but we're going to break that curse right now. And Jeff Langston is going to come away with career win number 10 in the Venom Truck Series. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it started out kind of rough, as you said. Just some bad luck there, but yeah, I really wanted to win at Indy. I might have won here once in like the Indy cars or something like that, but never in a stock car to my knowledge, and I always wanted to win here. So yeah, this one feels pretty good.
Now on the on what was the final restart in regulation, you're lining up in front of the entire field who at least have 2 fresh tires, if not 4 fresh tires. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling nervous? How are you feeling out in front?
I felt like I had 0 chance of winning, to be honest with you. And yeah, I think if that very last caution wouldn't have come out, I think probably TJ or Steve would have caught me. But it just takes a couple laps to get going, and these things get aero tight between other trucks, and just that's how it worked out. But no, I had going into the second to last restart, I thought I had no chance of winning. I thought maybe top 5 would be good with all those fresh tires behind me.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, we talked about it, how we thought I personally thought you were maybe a sit and duck out there as well. The caution seemed to have helped you. On that last restart, is there anything special that you did, or just try to get as good of a jump as possible and hold that thing wide open?
That's it. Just try to not be repetitive on restarts so people can't, use that as an advantage on you. And I think from the go, I might have cracked the throttle through 1 just a hair, but I was pretty much wide open all the way to 2.
Well, it's a big night for you. It's a big night for the Venom Truck Series. You're the first driver with double-digit wins on your 40th career start here tonight. Man, 25%. That's a pretty good win record, I think.
Yeah, of course, a lot of that goes back to season 1. A lot of these drivers that have been here through all the seasons have gotten really good. So the competition is really stiff these days.
It may be really stiff, but you're at the top of the heap here. You're the cream of the crop, if only for tonight. But always great to get back to victory lane. Who do you want to thank here from the top step tonight? You earned it.
Just my teammates. We stay on our channel the whole race and talk strategy and fuel and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be really tough to do by yourself without bouncing ideas off of the other folks.
Well, you said you wanted to win at Indy. You've done it. You've got career win number 10. What are the goals for the rest of the season now?
I'd like to win a couple more. I think that's probably realistic. Probably won't win next week on the dirt track. That's not my strength there. But yeah, I would definitely like to get one or two more wins. Would make a great season.
Hey, I tell you what. First of all, with the way you've been running this season, I definitely think it's quite possible for you to end back up in victory lane. You've been up front in pretty much every race and just kind of been unceremoniously disposed of. But I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. I'm looking at the stat sheet here. It says you got a top 5 at Bristol Dirt, which is just so happens where we happen to be next week. So we'll be looking for you to be up front and in contention once again next week, no matter what you may think right now. But we appreciate the time here tonight, and congrats again on the win here tonight at Indy.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. Appreciate it.
That is your race winner, Jeff Langston. And, man, we just keep getting races where there's everything that you could possibly want. There's a big crash. There's long green flag runs with strategy. There's great racing. I mean, Venom Truck Series has it all. I don't know what else you want.
I don't know what else you could want either. And if you liked all the action that you saw tonight, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. But big shout out to the guys at Broke Guy Racing. Not only were they first, second, and third tonight, all steps to the podium, but Poliski came in 6th as well. So 4 of the top 6 all came from Broke Guy Racing here tonight. That is spectacular.
What an effort for them. I think they definitely picked their track well here. It's always going to be another feather in the cap of Jeff Langston, not only to be the first Venom Truck Series driver to lay claim to Indianapolis, but also the first Venom Truck Series driver up with 10 wins up on the board. He's the first into double digits. That's quite the cool claim there. No matter, he's pretty dismissive. He's super humble. I gathered that just from that interview there. He's very dismissive of, well, I got it a lot in the early seasons and now the guys are a lot better. It's like, well, you're still the first to 10. Like that's, you're still the one. So a big congrats again to him and to Broke Guy Racing. Big thanks to Mike. I'm not going to say the last name. You're not going to bait me in there. Appreciate Mike coming and hanging out with us here tonight, as well as William, Greg Roberts, Flinky couldn't make it tonight. Appreciate you coming out and watching the broadcast though, and Brantley Gainey and Josh Maxwell for hanging out with us there towards the end of the race as well. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up here tonight?
As always, thanks to the viewers for watching. We love the Venom Truck Series. Tommy said, like he said, they give us great action, all kinds of good stuff going on every week. So thanks to those of you that follow that. And thanks to everybody that watched this weekend as well. We had such a great event with the Daytona Charity Shootout. It was an awesome event for us and everybody involved. And thank you for being a part of that as well.
Absolutely. Tonight was the very first race in the 2023 Turn 200 Championship. For more information on that, or to just be a part of the action in all of our racing action, go ahead and click the link to join the Discord in the description. We'd love to have you. That way you could be a part of Truck 200 if you so choose, or you can just come out and hang out with us all the time. What's wrong with that? We'd love to have you in the Discord, and it'll keep you up to date on all the goings on with the Turn 200. Our next broadcast, as Jeff Langston mentioned momentarily ago. How about just a little bit ago? Next week, the Down and Dirty for Christmas 80 at Bristol Dirt. We will have heat races, and we will have a feature. So get ready to get down and dirty for Christmas at Bristol Dirt. That'll be next Tuesday right here on Turn 200. I'm assuming the same start time. Might be a little bit of a later night since it's the heats, but who cares? It's dirt racing. That's what we do best here on Turn 200. So for everybody with the Venom Truck Series, for everybody here at Turn 200, for the GOAT, the absolute GOAT, Matt Williamson, I have been Tommy Cook saying until we meet again here on Turn 200, so long from virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where Jeff Langston hits the big 1-0 in P1 here tonight in the Taco Chalupa Batman Memorial at the Brickyard. Good night, everybody.